Welcome to Made in Spain, the show that takes you past the postcards.
We're two friends who live here, absolutely love it, and can't stop pulling at the threads of what makes this country tick.
I'm Nalini.
And I'm Laura.
And every week we go past the flamenco cliches and the tourist maps.
Into the food, the design, the festivals. Today is all about festivals and the people who make this place unforgettable.
One story,
one flavor, one episode at a time.
So pour yourself something good and come along the ride with us. All right. So, Laura, we're covering something that I think is very near and dear to most people that live here and also people that visit from afar. And that some of these things are bucket list items, these fiestas for outsiders, particularly the San Fermin, which is the running of the bulls in Pamplona. Keep in mind, there are other running of the bulls in other towns across Spain. It's just that this one is the most, I think, global or international.
It is still within Spain a very controversial fiesta.
Yes.
Because you have a lot of people here who are hardcore defenders of tradition.
Right.
And you have a lot of people here because of the fact that this involves animals.
Yes.
Who do not agree with this either. So independently, we are covering this and looking at this very much as an outside perspective, looking in and talking about what happens. It's not that we endorse the running of the bulls or not. It's just something that is international interest.
Well, it happens every year. And
Exactly.
It's been happening for a very, very long time.
A very long time.
So there's, I do understand the animal welfare behind it. However, it dates back to very ancient traditions. And now it is, in quote unquote, commercialized in a way. It's a tourist destination. It's for locals. It's for the rest of Spain, the rest of Europe. They make money from it. But it does originate from the simple fact that cattle herders had to move their animals through the streets.
Yep.
There was an actual function to it. It's not as if the town got together and said, let's just have a crazy fiesta in which people run in front
of the bulls.
1,000-pound animals, possibly, upon
angry.
fear, of death, and sell this as an attraction. No, it's rooted in actual historical fact. Now, the San Fermin is sort of the co-patron saint of Pamplona. Mm-hmm. And he was kind of pushed out, went to France, died, and then parts of his relics started coming back to the region, and he was a martyr. So considered a martyr. Over the years, the tradition is actually rooted, or the fiesta, the celebration is rooted in something very religious. Mm-hmm. But as time went on, what do people want? They want a party, and
adrenaline.
And they try to fight the church. They try and fight the local government. And eventually what happens over so many hundreds of years, the people win.
Yes.
So that is.
So one key thing that Nalini mentioned, when all of this started, people weren't running in front of the bulls.
No.
They were running behind them.
They were running behind them because they had to move them from one location to the other. And the festival actually didn't even take place in July. It originally happened in October, but in the north of Spain, in that region, it's cold. And the townspeople got tired of having their fiestas when it's rainy and cold and damp. So they petitioned to have it moved to the annual sort of their cattle herding, or I'm not a farmer. I don't know the right technology or terminology, but in July. So they, again, public pressure, the will of the people imposed on the government, they moved it. And over the years, they've added different types of events that perhaps weren't traditionally part of it. But the highlight is the running of the bulls, which takes place every morning over all the days of the fiestas.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. It's a very, very interesting one. So Nalini, do you want to tell us a little bit about, I think, something unavoidable to discuss with this year's San Fermin?
Right.
The man in full Joker face paint.
So apparently there's this guy from, he is a TikToker. I won't say his name just so we don't have to give him any more publicity, but he has attended this before. He dresses up in this full Joker kind of costume and he completely violates the ordinances of the Ayuntamiento. So every year they put out, so, I mean, if you're a foreigner and you want to attend the running of the bulls, there's no reason you should be confused, because if you go on the website of Pamplona, the Ayuntamiento, they give you exact instructions as what to wear, what to do, every single day, the festivities. And it specifically says you may not film. There are fines. Police will find you and you will be fined. And the reason they don't want people filming is because it's a distraction and it is dangerous.
It's extremely dangerous. Every year, so I just want to be clear on the San Fermin. Every year people get hurt.
Every year.
Some years people die. So this is a very serious thing. If you're considering doing the running of the bulls, I would encourage you to know what you're doing and know what you're getting into. The other thing about the Joker face paint guy, I did a little bit of research. He hasn't just done this in the San Fermin. He does this in all kinds of like international events. He did it at the Dia de los Muertos in Mexico. He's done it in a bunch of different things. He's been arrested multiple times. So what he does is he goes to these things and he does what he's not supposed to do, knowing very well that he's going to get away with it. He may have a fine or he may get arrested, but he's going to get away with it and get a bunch of followers from it. To me, not something I endorse at all. I think it's horrible that you're destroying tradition by just wanting to get more followers. So I think it's pretty sad, actually.
He'll get away with it until a bull tramples him.
Yeah.
Because he's distracted on his phone trying to film something. I mean, that's the reality of it.
And he was inciting the bulls as well, which is absolute no-no. Like, you cannot talk to the bulls.
She means you can't touch the bulls.
And or say like,
incite
them, you know, like
incite them.
Or whatever.
Not have a conversation
hey,
with the bulls.
How are you? How's your San Fermin going?
No, not that. But no, you're absolutely right. They even tell you, the town tells you what to do if you fall down.
Really?
Yes.
So what do you?
You curl up in a ball.
Play dead.
Yeah, you try to curl up in a ball, and I mean, basically kind of like
don't get trampled by a 1,000 kilo animal.
There's a very funny pictogram that I found on a website of how to prepare.
Oh my God.
So they have a slim person, a slim like little stick figure, and then they have a non-slim.
Yes.
And they're like, you must have physical fitness. And then an X.
Oh my goodness. You know, at one point, I remember this was years ago, but when they had to come up with the actual ban for women not running in high heels, and are you serious? Like, but people would do it.
Well, no, they say you have to have proper footwear.
Yeah.
You cannot be intoxicated on any substance whatsoever. If police do find that you, I don't know how they check. I mean, they put this on the public website.
Well, they obviously are doing their work, because I mean, tracking down people who were wearing meta glasses after the fact and then going and detaining them. I mean, that's quite a bit of like sleuthing going on.
Well, and from the fiestas that we've been to, the police here now have very advanced drone technology, and they are. I mean, we've been to Valencia for
Tomatina,
and they're drones ahead. They're watching, and it's not to spy, but it's to keep the crowd safe.
Yeah.
You're in confined spaces. There are not necessarily, especially in the old towns, a lot of exit routes. If something happens, it's difficult for medical staff to get there. So they are very vigilant. And I was actually really impressed with all the recommendations they put out, what they will accept and what they will not accept.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it should be like that, because you're trying to keep people safe. I think the historical piece that is very interesting is Hemingway actually put the San Fermin on the map internationally when he wrote The Sun Also Rises. And there are mixed feelings about this today, because obviously the same as when we talked about in the Desembarque, it's not overwhelmingly touristy. It still feels very traditional. The amount of people who show up every year to the San Fermin who are going from other parts of the world is very big. So you will get mixed feelings from people.
I can understand that, but it's also, I think, the lifeblood now of the town, because they've added events to it.
Yeah.
So from every July 7th to about the 14th at 8 a.m., 6 fighting bulls and several steering cattle are released onto the 850-meter cordon-off street course. You're not allowed to hide in like the doorways or anything like that and kind of like jump out on the route. You can't do that if you are a local. You're not supposed to keep your doors open. You need to have them locked. You have to be there by 6:30, and once they cordon it off, that's it. People have tried, I think, to do fancy dress, but they've said no. You have to wear red,
And
white.
So it's mainly white with one little bit of red.
Yeah, with the scarf or the little band in the middle. The white is, well, some say it's for the purity of their patron saint. Others say it's because bulls are colorblind.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It doesn't really matter why. That is what is required of you. You're supposed to wear red and white, or mostly white with a little dash of
But they
red.
can see red, right?
I think so. I don't know. But
It's like, that's what the bullfighters
use. That could just be a distraction for them. So, yeah, I think that's a very interesting.
So here's a crazy one for you. Women were barred from the run for 107 years.
Wow.
Yeah. The first ordinance in 1867 banned women, the elderly, and children from the street and the cattle ran through. It wasn't repealed until 1974. The first woman to run the following year did it hidden inside a ring of men. So women are still only about 6% of runners.
Right. I mean, would you ever do like this? I have no desire to do this.
No.
I
would be okay being banned from this.
Yeah.
I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah, I have no interest in participating in this. But what is interesting, though, is that when you go on and you start looking into the actual festival and the how long it runs, you can already start booking balconies to watch it from now. Which,
it's expensive.
It's expensive. So I think that's also, I mean, kudos to them for organizing it in a proper fashion that you can, I don't know if they're people's balconies that they rent out.
People's balconies, like just homes.
That's I think it's fantastic that you can make money from that. There are about 16 prohibitions that they put out every single year, which I think is very funny, but some of them are funny. I think the biggest one is the ban of any kind of recording device unless you've been given accreditation. So if you have no accreditation, you are not allowed. So even the meta glasses, they've been confiscated, and they're looking for it because what they want is that, can you imagine if every single year somebody was catastrophically injured? This would now become more of a national issue. They're trying to keep people safe as they continue with this tradition.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Yeah, you're not allowed to run facing, like you can't run backwards. You have to run that route. You have to be there at a certain time. Once they close it off, that's it. You can't duck into the little alleyways. You got to keep going. You need to roll up into a ball if you fall down.
And also, if you are a resident along the route, you are liable if your front door is open.
Right.
Because the runners will duck in the hallways to escape. Now imagine the runner ducking in, but imagine a bull running behind it.
Exactly.
Which could happen.
No. All right. So that was, I think this should be on our list of things that we need to actually partake in next year.
So San Fermin, we'll go check it out.
Yeah.
We won't be doing the running. I can assure you of that.
We'll do everything else.
Yeah, we'll do everything else.
All right. Do you want to move on now to a different part of the country, Alicante, Laura?
Yes. And just to be clear, we wanted to give you a flavor of some of the key festivals that you can enjoy here during the summer. So there are a ton more, but we just picked out a few that would be interesting. If you're coming to Spain in summer, these are the ones that you may want to partake in or check out. So one is very close to us, and it's the Hogueras de San Juan, Alicante. So this is our home turf for Nalini and I. It's right around the corner. I will say that we didn't go this year because if you don't pre-plan this very heavily, you are going to struggle to get parking. It's very, very hard to come in and out of the city.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you have to plan this way ahead of time. So the city sets about 237 sculptures on fire in one go. The 1881 story is the thing that everyone kind of thinks about or, also remembers is that these were banned for a very long time.
Okay.
But one mayor actually forgot to publish the ban, and then the actual bonfires happened, or the fires happened. It wasn't until a few years later that finally they removed the ban, after that one night was kind of like, you could say, the factor that opened the door.
Right.
But it was because of that one mayor forgetting. And the thing that everyone waits for is the banyà, which is after the monuments burn or while they're burning, the firefighters actually turn the hoses on the crowds.
Okay.
Because obviously this is happening when the weather is really, really hot, and it keeps the people who are watching cool.
Does this happen at end of June, early July?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think it's end of June.
End of June. And I will tell you exactly what you said, that don't try to drive into the city during this weekend. Guess what we did one year? we drove into the city because we didn't know. And we didn't plan on going to Alicante that particular Saturday. Something else had happened. And we said, oh, yeah, let's just go to Alicante for a little bit, go do some shopping or walk around. We'll get something to eat and come home. Okay, an hour and a half of traffic. And once you get stuck in it, you can't come out. No. We did find parking. It took hours.
Yeah.
To kind of, an hour to navigate. And we just got lucky. We found a spot, parked. But if we had planned it better, we would have taken the tram in, because you have all the little, is it peñas, like set up? Like,
I think they call them, I'm blanking right now. It's like casetas, or it's kind of like a peña.
Well, because it's owned by somebody, and they're kind of hosting it, and they have all the, the beautiful sculptures outside, and then you can go in the tent and you can have something to eat or drink. But the city is alive. It's actually really fun. And if you are in the Alicante region, I would say it is.
Find a way to go see it.
Find a way, because it's super fun. Really, really nice.
Also, like the fires in Valencia, two ninots are actually pardoned from the flames each year by public vote. So one adult size and one child size, and that goes in the museum. Everything else burns.
Very cool. All right, we have another festival. It's called La Batalla del Vino, and that is in
Haro.
In the northern part of Spain, La Rioja.
Yes.
Okay. A town of about 12,000 people throw 30,000 liters of wine at each other before breakfast. Everyone repeats a medieval land dispute origin story, and there are some questions as to how accurate that is. The disputes are 300 or 400 years older than the pilgrimage, and nothing has ever linked them together. Presented, I would say, perhaps as a little bit of a myth, or there's some root in history there. Otherwise, I don't think it would exist. It wasn't even called the Battle of Wine until 1949. Once they start throwing it, it's finished by mid-morning. You have mass. Everybody, there's, what do you call it? It's probably the mascletas.
Yeah.
Right? And then you're going home at 10:30. I don't know how many people are going home at that time, but that is a different type of fiesta in the north of Spain.
And one of the interesting things about this as well is that they do a version of it for kids.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, when we were doing the research, we found out that there's this thing called mosto. So it's like mosto de vino tinto or mosto of red wine.
Right.
So it's non-alcoholic red wine.
Right.
And the kids get to throw this at each other and take part. And it's more of a child-friendly one. But I think this one's definitely one to watch out for. So you're probably getting the sense by this point that we Spanish people like to throw things at each other, mostly consumables. Now we'll get into the Tomatina a little bit later on, but wine, it's basically a lot of these festivals, you're doing something that you would just never do unless it's on that day.
Do you know the two countries that compete for the most festivals? And this is when you say festivals or fiestas or festive holidays, the two countries in the world. Again, a loose definition. It depends on how you define it. Yeah. It is India and Spain.
Interesting. Like Diwali. Oh, that's so
But also with India, you have the very, a regional town, a regional city that might have their own celebration. And when they say sort of, not festival, but festive days, it means days off.
Yeah.
So you have X number of days for this particular religious event. It's a little bit more rooted today, I think, in religion for India, but in Spain, I mean, it's neck and neck. It's just how you define it.
Yes.
Because every town has their patron saint that they celebrate.
And again, some people wouldn't even be able to tell you what the patron saint is. So I would say a lot of the festivities are rooted in religion.
Yes.
And some of them are now more religious in nature than others.
Right. All right. Do we want to talk about the
Aste Nagusia
Yes.
in Bilbao? The callback to when we went to Bilbao. This modern festival was invented by public competition.
Okay.
In 1978, the city ran a contest to make Bilbao's Fiestas popular. So I guess they didn't have something that, made them stand out like some of the others. And it was sponsored by El Corte Inglés, believe it or not, all the way in the 70s, with a prize of 100,000 pesetas.
Okay. What
Which
is that
would
worth?
be 6,000 euros now.
Okay.
And again,
At
back
that time,
then,
oh my God, of
100,000 pesetas was a serious amount of money. Wait, 610,000. Yes, 6,000, 100,000 pesetas. So 37 entries, and the winner was submitted by the Cultural Commission of the Communist Movement of Vizcaya.
Okay.
The city only meant it as advice. Public pressure actually forced them to adopt it.
Interesting.
So to your point of how much the public, in the San Fermines, in the Tomatina, in everything we discussed, the public has a lot to do with these fiestas continuing to exist. Very much so.
And they need the workers in the city to actually put these things on and be involved in it. If it was left up to the government, I don't think it would happen.
Yes, absolutely. So the city handed over half of the keys to its own biggest event. Then Marijaya, designed in 5 days in 1978, 4 meters tall, rebuilt every year, her arms permanently raised because the artist wanted the body language of optimism. She has only once failed to burn. In 1983, they sheltered her in a kiosk ahead of the floods, and the river carried her away.
Oh,
Marijaya.
interesting. Now you have the
Feria. Very good.
Okay. Feria de Málaga, and the historic parade begins the festivities, which recreates the arrival of the Catholic monarchs following their conquest of Malaga in 1487. So you have flamenco, you have horses, you have a city that doesn't sleep for a week. And what's interesting with this particular, the set of fiestas or celebration during the year, they are very specific in how things have to be run. So if a family has what they call a caseta, there are rules for them to run it. You have to be open at this particular time. You must serve food. You have to have 50% of your inside your caseta with traditional tables and chairs so that people can actually sit down. If you are found to be engaging in illegal activity, whether it is contraband, drugs, they will shut you down and you will be banned from the next year.
Forever.
So they are very serious about how they run it, which, we kind of show up at these things and, have fun. But when you start actually doing a deep dive into it, there is not just a lot of organization, but I think they try to also make it very safe for everybody attending.
They want to make it a representation of the town's identity.
Yes.
And they want that identity to be positive, people to have a positive experience. So people who kind of ruin it by going too far, I think that's when these things turn sour. So,
and also they ban the selling of ice outside of authorized premises.
Interesting.
So it is sort of like an anti-drinking measure.
Yeah, because it's so hot that you don't want to be
it's-
drinking without ice. So that's pretty interesting.
And how would you pronounce this? The drink, the pink bottled moscatel?
Yes, moscatel.
Right. So it was invented for the British to enjoy, but now it has become synonymous with, Malaga and the fiestas. It's a really kind of cool.
Cartojal.
Yeah. Fuchsia pink bottle, and it's a white wine.
Nice.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's a white wine.
Awesome. And then today we want to end this little section about festivals and festivities in Spain with one that I think Nalini and I will ever forget.
Mm-hmm.
And that is called La Tomatina.
Yes.
So for those of you who have been following us from way back when, we did a full episode on La Tomatina. But La Tomatina happens in Buñol.
Yes.
It is very well organized. You have to buy tickets in order to be able to be a part of the actual Tomatina. You can get close to it if you don't have the ticket, but you can't be in the Tomatina.
No, they actually control the entry into the center.
Because it is a small town.
Very small.
And it could get overcrowded and dangerous if they don't control it. The tomatoes that they use in La Tomatina are not edible. And I think it's very important for people to understand that, because sometimes they'll get accused of like food waste.
It's not. They're grown specifically for this.
Exactly.
It comes from Extremadura.
Exactly. Yeah. So they're not tomatoes that, you could have otherwise, fed to people in need or anything like that. And I can tell you from our own experience that after you go to La Tomatina, you probably don't want to see a tomato for a good little while, because the smell of...
Not a good smell.
No.
And imagine,
they're not like decomposing, but they're kind of going towards decomposing. They're on the verge. So it's like that strong tomatoey smell.
But slightly off.
And then you add like sweat and, beer that's being thrown around. And it's like when you walk out of there, one of the funniest things is that some of the people in the city are actually hosing people down. So they have a hose, and that you kind of get a bit cleaned up.
But people from their balconies will
hose you down with water.
They'll just put the hose on people, which people love. Now, it's about 10,000 people in Buñol, and you get about 22,000 in the actual
Tomatina.
Yeah, the event, which is not that long. I mean, realistic, it's maybe about 2.5 hours, or
I think from the time that they actually start of the event, it's about less than that.
Yeah, maybe it's about an hour and a half. I mean, you're in the kind of confines of it well before that. You have to arrive before 7 a.m.
Yeah.
So you are waiting all those hours. Also, in many cases,
people are drinking.
The people are drinking
at
for that
7:30 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
But the other interesting thing as well, similar to the San Fermin, you are supposed to dress in white.
Yes.
So obviously that creates a very artistic situation where everybody is like covered in tomato sauce, and a lot of people wear goggles to protect their eyes, because again, people are throwing tomatoes at each other, and a tomato thrown at a certain speed can really hurt. So
yeah, it can.
It can very much hurt.
Other festivals, similar festivals, take place in Colorado,
really,
Nevada, China, and Colombia.
With tomatoes?
Yeah.
Okay.
As well as India.
Okay. Interesting.
So
you never know.
You never know.
And then one last thing I think that's important about the Tomatina is you do have to plan where you're staying, because most likely you will not be able to stay in Buñol. So you will be traveling in and out. It's not like a town that has a bunch of hotels or anything like that.
No, there's not much there.
And then it also happens towards the end of August.
The third Thursday in August. So if you can picture that for a moment, you have a town in the interior of Spain, which means you're not getting a sea breeze. It's an ancient little town. It has ancient little roads. It's very tiny, the center. You have 20-something thousand people covered in rotting tomatoes.
Exactly.
That is what happens. And just FYI, if anybody does happen to take our advice and go, because it is something to experience. And I will say, a lot of Spanish people, a lot of Valencian people haven't gone.
No.
I've asked many people, and they're like, no, I've never been to that. And they're in the community, but they've never attended it. There's also, oh my God, I'm saying a Canadian term right now.
Say it.
Ride is an Ontario term. So it means like a police check for DUI.
Yes.
So there's one road in and out of Buñol.
Yep.
2 little roundabouts, and they are stationed at both.
Don't drink and drive, people.
Do not.
Ever.
Yeah, especially then.
Slice of life. Slice of life.
So a little while ago, a couple of weeks, we did a day trip to Valencia, and we were on a local radio station that's actually quite well known, 99.9. Yeah, it was actually really exciting, because we were very graciously invited, and I mean, I've never been on Spanish radio before.
Yeah, me neither. I've never been on the radio full stop, and I always think there's a beauty, like something different about radio that's not quite like podcast, because you kind of feel like the pressure of like being on air and not being edited. It was Juan, and his program is Café de Negocios. And I think it was really cool. And I have to say, I know it wasn't like the easiest thing for Nalini, because it was in Spanish the whole time, but I know she's her Spanish is getting better and better and better, and she understood a lot of it, I believe, right?
Yeah, he did ask me questions in Spanish and I answered in English and you translated for me. So, I mean,
But you understood the questions, though.
it was very gracious because, I mean, English speakers are not their audience. So the fact that they had us on, very well put together, a really super fun experience. He's a very funny, passionate guy.
Yes.
And I will always remember that he does not like tortilla with cebolla.
Yes. He's, Juan is definitely on the side of arguing for the tortilla without the onion.
Yeah, I will remember that. And even after we did our interview and we just talked about, what the purpose of our project is, our little project that we like to call it, our podcast. It was sort of after, when we were off air and we were all sort of standing around talking. It was a really very nice experience. They were very gracious. They hosted us. We had a nice toast, which again, very Spanish. I cannot think of a radio station in, I don't know, a North American market where afterwards you would have a glass of cava or prosecco or champagne.
It was also like 12. And
it
was midday. So that was a nice perk. I want to mention that there was a lady there from the Covinos, Grupo Coviñas. And, she gave us this wonderful bottle of cava. I don't know, Nalini, if you want to take a look at it.
Yeah, it's really pretty. It's also really delicious. It's this really pretty, rosé.
So it's a rosé cava.
And they produce in a very small town, but they have all their cellars in an underground sort of network.
Yes, and I believe the town, just to make sure we get it right, is Utiel Requena. I think what's very unique about this wine region there is that it's not one specific winery. It's 3,000 families that contribute towards the whole business, you could say. So because they each have their plot of land with their grapes, different kinds of grapes, and we are going to pay them a visit.
Yes.
This year, Utiel Requena or Requena has the denomination of city of wine in Spain. So it's very exciting.
It's very exciting. And their cellars are underground from the ancient passageways that they've turned that into where they store their wines out of sunlight in the cool.
Yes.
So I guess in English you would say it's a cooperative.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, because it's a Grupo Coviñas is what they call it. And actually I love their kind of tagline, protegiendo lo esencial, protecting that's essential, so basically protecting, all these families that have grown, this business of wine within Requena for such a long time. So we'll definitely pay them a visit, but I definitely think if you are a wine person or a cava person, really go out of your way to explore the different parts of Spain and what they have to offer. Not everything is La Rioja, and there's so much there that, you can explore.
And you probably would not you would just scratch the surface.
Absolutely.
All right. A few weeks ago, you attended the fireworks celebrations in La Olla.
Yes. So one of our, I would say, not host, one of the people we invited to the podcast a few months ago, Darcy, who was a real estate expert, he actually hosted a very special night with his real estate company, and they hosted it at one of the luxury homes that they're selling that had amazing views of La Olla. La Olla every year does this fireworks of La Olla, and this year was the 40-year anniversary of these
really
fireworks.
Special, extra special.
Very, very special. Sad part about it is from where we saw it is extremely safe because we were far away. You could see the fireworks in all their kind of majesty. It was like incredible, amazing experience. I would do it, every year like that. However, something happened where you can actually watch those fireworks from close by on the beach, and something happened. They're doing the full investigation now, where one of the fireworks, when it got shot out, deviated and it ended up landing in the beach, on the beach where people were sitting.
Yeah.
So 27 people ended up badly hurt. A number of them were in the burnt unit in Alicante. So it's very sad. And again, fireworks and anything to do with explosive is very, very tied to the Valencian community. So I think they're probably going to do some investigation on that and really try and, avoid these things happening in the future.
Well, do you think the way sometimes things operate with officials that all of a sudden, not that they would cancel the fireworks for the following year, but there will be a whole set of recommendations or safety measures put in place?
Something has to happen. So if you picture this, the fireworks were coming out of the water in the sea.
And it landed on the beach.
Right. But if you actually see the location of where these things were mounted on the sea, you can even see that it was too close. So I don't know, how or why or what the engineers are going to have to figure out to do something different. But it was a very scary moment because obviously it's also a lot of people sitting there.
Yeah.
And then when the ambulances were trying to get through, they couldn't get through quickly.
No.
It was a big disaster. So hopefully it gets fixed for next time because it is a beautiful thing to watch.
Yeah.
But you have to watch it safely.
Right.
And I can tell you, I will be watching it from far. It's just not something you want to get super close to.
No. And, okay, so this past, we've had a lot happen in the last couple of weeks, Laura. We also had the eclipse.
Yes.
That was really amazing. We didn't watch it together. We were sort of debating, and it was actually after the fireworks, then the local government was like, oh, we're not doing this. You can't go here. You can't, they tried to kind of, which an eclipse has nothing to do with the fireworks, but there's this overreaction after the fact. And we tried to plan something, and then we said, okay, look, we'll just watch it at home.
They ended up also because of all the fires that have happened around Spain, the wildfires, they ended up banning a lot of people going to places that they thought that they could leave garbage that would end up, starting a fire.
Yeah.
So for example, at one point we were thinking about going up in the mountain and we read that, oh no, that's cut off. No one's going to be able to go there. So you told me that you built a contraption. What did you actually build?
Well, we tried in vain, by the way, so I love the fact that the health ministry sent everybody a text. If you're registered, you get a text on your phone telling you exactly what not to do, how to do it, and what not to do, except provided no information as to where you get the glasses. And of course, I saw some really funny videos on whatever social media, the eclipse is an hour away, but just people like running through crowds to try and get the proper glasses. We tried, I think, 10 different locations because we're like, oh, we'll see if we can see it. But from where I live, the sun goes behind the mountain at that time. And I knew I wouldn't be able to see it. So I thought, oh, whatever, I don't really care.
I just thought of it. We're sitting here and I could see them from here. Here, put them on because they look like really funny.
You can't see anything with these.
Yeah, look.
Can you see something?
Look into the lights. You can see the lights.
What? I can't see anything in this. Can you see?
So try. They look so funny. Look, just look at how it looks. Like it just look really funny. Okay,
we can just do it with it on.
Yeah, so just pick it up from where you left off about like where you... So, okay, so you told me about this contraption. So what did you end up building?
Okay, so we looked online. We did not have these. I'm going to put the glasses on, but we did not have these glasses. We looked everywhere for them and we couldn't find it. This is ridiculous. So my son looked online and he said, you have to get a piece of paper and like a strainer, a colander. And you have to put the colander over the sun and then it reflects this. And then he kept kind of shouting at me, let's get in the car and drive around the other side of the mountain. And I said, yeah, grab your colander, put that on.
I'm picturing like almost, like people who wear like silver foil on their head.
Yes, that's what I said. I'm like, look we can just drive around with you with a strainer on your head and some kind of towel and a piece of paper. Anyway, it did go behind the mountain. We couldn't actually see it, but we did see when the sky became really, really dark very, very fast. And did you feel it get cold?
It did get cold and it got like this, the energy changed.
Yeah. I had to tell my family, stop talking. I said, they're just talking. They're like, oh my gosh. I'm like, can you guys stop talking? We're experiencing a celestial event right now.
Yes.
I went downstairs and I was in a corner by myself. trying to observe it in silence.
So we didn't think we were going to be able to see it at all. You know, I had my friend here from Madrid.
Did you see it?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
So we went to the terrace upstairs.
I was on the terrace, but the mountain blocks it.
So one corner of the terrace, if you looked a certain way,
you could see it.
And all of a sudden, we had these glasses on. Put the glasses on because we didn't think we were going to be able to see it.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, we put the glasses on. This is the craziest thing. I'm not saying you were looking directly at the sun, but you were looking towards it. You couldn't see anything. But then the moment you put the glasses on, you started seeing, I think we saw it where it was like a quarter and then a third covered.
Right.
And then the moment it was a third covered, then it went behind the mountain.
Oh, okay. You saw more. Because ours went, well, I didn't have the glasses either. I was just kind of like inside, and Irti had a strainer of some kind.
I had to convince my aunt because in her head, for some reason, no, we're not going to be able to. I was like, come up here and put these glasses on.
Yeah.
And she put them on. She's like, oh my God, I'm seeing a solar eclipse. I'm like, yeah, it was absolutely amazing.
Jose Andres was live on Instagram.
Yeah.
And he had his, like, of course, the telescope and everything. And I was like, I'm watching this live. I'm watching it. But then I gave up on that.
You know that Iberia, this is an interesting one, hosted an eclipse flight. They made it exclusive. I don't know who got invited to that or how you could get tickets on that plane. And everybody, like, they flew to the point where you could see the full eclipse. And I thought it was such a clever marketing thing that they did. It was the Iberia eclipse flight. And everybody's wearing the glasses inside. And, they were cheering, like almost like it was New Year's.
Wow.
It was a really cool thing to do.
And actually, when it did start to dip, the sun, the helicopter, we saw the helicopter going by. And I thought, well, whoever's in that helicopter, lucky for them.
Yeah, it was very special.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I read, though, that there's going to be more eclipses. So hopefully we get to see one together.
Okay, that'd be nice.
Awesome.
All right.
Alrighty, well, thank you very much. We have the sentence of the day.
Okay.
We don't want to forget that because we get told off if not. So the sentence of the day today is coger al toro por los cuernos.
You need to collect.
Coger al toro por los cuernos.
Oh, okay. So it is about the bull.
Yes.
And the horns.
Yes.
Okay. Grab it.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's grab the bull by the horns.
Good.
And it means that you face a problem or a challenge head on.
Yeah.
Because you can imagine grabbing a bull by its horns is not a good idea.
Which, by the way, is banned in the running.
Don't do that. Don't do that. But it really supposed to mean like you're facing a challenge or a problem head on.
Yeah.
So
nice.
it's like, since we talked about the San Ferminas, please make sure you follow us on socials at the Made in Spain podcast, at Made in Spain podcast on Instagram. And please, 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 we look forward to hearing from you. Let us know what you liked, what you'd like us to talk about in upcoming episodes. We are going to be covering a lot of interesting things. We appreciate and love our audience. So thank you for being here.
Yeah. Bye for now.
Bye for now.